Welcome back to Sunny Morning. We're at the El Dorado Hotel in the Riviera Maya. My name is Gilbert Rios, and this is my good friend Elliot Bullman.
Hey, welcome back. And you've been checking out some other big top stories this week around the world of sports. And what else did you find out was going on at the Combine? I mean, last weekend there was another big name emerged, right?
Absolutely. The big name actually is Shaquem Griffin. And he's actually attempting to be the first one-handed player in NFL history.
Imagine that.
Now he literally blazed the NFL scouting combine with an insane 4.38 40-yard dash. To give that into perspective, that could be Olympic 100-meter runner.
I mean, okay, so you extended that over 100 meters. I mean, that would be on that pace, right?
Yeah, super fast. Yeah, and he actually is strong as well. He's a defensive back. He's fast. And he's strong. He actually pumped out 20 reps on the bench press at 225 pounds.
With both hands?
Well, he only has one hand, but with something like that at a combine, they make a special exception where they use a prosthetic for him just so that he can have grip on the bar while he's pumping this bench press. But on the field itself, no one is allowed to use any kind of prosthetics. So,
okay, so, I mean, just to be fair across the board for everybody, I mean, there's hundreds of guys at the Combine, right? So they have to have very strict rules of like, okay, everybody's got to go through the same tests. But that was a story in itself. I mean, what he accomplished on the bench press.
Absolutely, and but this is a trained player. He's been at it for a long time. He actually was the MVP for the Peach Bowl. He made 12 tackles. He had 3 of those tackles for a loss, and including 2 sacks with a win over Auburn to wrap up an impressive undefeated season at 13-0.
13-0?
Yeah, 13-0. Yeah. He was actually born with a deformed hand that was amputated when he was 4 years old. Wow. Clearly, he had his upbringing that was very strong. Didn't stop him. On the contrary, I think that fueled him. What is surprising as well is this. He has a twin brother who actually did the same speed, 4.38 of the 40-yard dash, last year in 2017. That was a record that has been in place for 15 years. And his brother, his twin brother, did it last year. And by the way, his twin brother is playing for Seattle Seahawks.
Well, that's no mean feat. I mean, 2 superstars. And, you know, he's doing it all off his own merit. He's coming in, hopefully kind of coming to the NFL. I mean, again, let's kind of have a little bit more about an analysis from you of what he's like as a player. What are his attributes?
Well, as far as attributes, you can't find a more humble player. When you see him actually talking to people, playing, interacting, this is the kind of player who is just your down-to-earth, normal guy.
He sort of had a bit of a joke, right, with the scouts last Sunday when he came in, because a lot of the scouts, they weren't expecting him to even be there. His name wasn't on the list, apparently. And when he got there and he got to the press call, he kind of like just rocks up, all kind of casual. He goes, you guys wasn't kind of expecting me, right?
It's true. Again, if he does get drafted, he will be breaking history. The first player in the NFL to be one-handed. There was a player from New Orleans, I believe in the late 60s, who had a club foot, but he was a kicker.
Okay.
You are a kicker. Funny enough, I mean, he actually broke the record of making a field goal, 61 yards back in the day. This was the New Orleans Saints playing the Colts. And it was just an amazing feat what he did. Tom Dempsey. But since all that time has gone by, there's never been a player like that with this kind of handicap, and especially playing on defense. I mean, picture yourself, Elliot.
Yeah.
You're a defensive player. You're running up against players that are super fast, very agile, good with their hands, and you have a little handicap. You got one hand, right? Picture yourself trying to catch a ball, an interception, blocking a pass with one hand.
So you basically, in the motion, you can picture he's got his hand. I mean, you can't grab, but he's going to try to push and hopefully, try and get the ball in an interception scenario.
He's done it over and over again in his college years, and he is absolutely one of the greatest players to come out of Central Florida. One hand or not. When you see him film his highlights, you are blown away by the way he penetrates into the offense, creates fumbles with his arm that doesn't have a hand. I mean, it's like if he doesn't realize it and he goes in and he slams that thing in there, next thing you know, the ball's fumbled. That's happened over and over again throughout his college career. And I have a funny feeling someone's going to pick him up.
Yeah.
When they were watching him run at that speed that he has, Coach Pete Carroll from the Seahawks, it was like if he was a little kid, the way he reacted when he saw that speed. And of course, Coach Carroll, he is like a little kid.
Yeah.
And he's one of the oldest coaches in the NFL, but you gotta admire that spirit, man.
But what would happen if he had both of them on the team? Like if he has both the twins on the team,
that would be an amazing
scenario,
thing.
Huh?
That would be an amazing thing. But hopefully he makes it into the NFL. I do know that if they do get him into the NFL, it's not going to be as a gesture of charity in any way. No, it doesn't happen at that level. He'll make it on his own merit, but he is definitely capable of competing with any player that's out there. He's been doing it for 4 years at Central Florida. And I'm rooting for you, Shaquem. I want to see you out there playing and just keep that inspiration that you're giving a lot of people right now, not only in sports, just people all around that see you, see what you have done, see how you have adapted to that, and reach to heights that a lot of people just dream of doing. So hats off to you, young man, and we're wishing you a lot of luck on the scouting combine in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, and you were mentioning to me, of course, these are the college guys, of course, at this combine. Explain to our viewers who might not be quite as familiar between the distinction between the college combine and the regular draft.
Exactly. This one right now is this, they call it the scouting combine. Scouting combine is this. It's all these collegiate players that are going to be up for the draft. Okay. Every NFL team has scouts. Okay, and they have a lot of scouts. They're everywhere, like the paparazzi in the NFL league. They actually have developed software that can do a prediction of a player based on everything but his DNA samples.
Okay, so
I mean, they predict the size, the speed, the motion, the way they are, the way they play, if they can be developed into something better, if they can be changed, if they can be used at other positions. And this is what the scouts are there for. They go, they get their notes, they write it down, they discuss it in an analytical way, no different than you would be discussing stocks on the open market on an IPO.
Awesome. So then from that information, those scouts are reporting back to obviously the teams, and hopefully from there making progress to get a signature. So then it gets really tight, right? Because everybody knows who are the hot. They kind of get a short list. Now it's time to kind of move in. I remember the movie Jerry Maguire, right? The agents start to get in, their people start to get in. I mean, there's a whole science here, right?
It is a science, and that science is very exacting like any other science.
So basically, the idea, okay, we're going to be following his career with a lot of interest. We're going to be coming back after the break, talking about something kind of sad that happened, of course, last weekend with the loss of a very, very distinguished player in Italian football. We'll be back with you after these messages.